Well, my Mustang seat came for my old 1889 Sportster. I remember when I bought that bike brand new, man. I was pushing it home from the dealer. I was in Japan, Okinawa, Japan, in the Marine Corps. I said, I could buy something USA. Well, this is actually made in the USA. This thing, 100%, all the way, handmade. And well, let me tell you this: where I think these seats, you really can't. These probably are about the best ones going. They cost you more money, but if you spend a lot of time on a bike, it's worth it. I should have got this years ago, I think, probably. I'll give you an updated review when I actually ride it a lot. I can actually ride this Sportster over 3 hours in perfect comfort with the stock seat, because maybe I'm used to it and it's broken in, and maybe because the foam is now 34 years old on it. It's an 1889 Sportster, and the foam probably got harder because I know originally it used to, the foam in that seat, the Sportster seat, used to crush down, and it felt like I was sitting on my hips or something on steel. And then it came in and had this covering up. There's just a bolt on this old Sportster. It's just a bolt here. It's an 89, and this slides forward. It slides up on the, like a little bracket up on the frame. So tells you who it was inspected by. It's got a better assembly by Eric D. Inspected by Chris M. So this is an old one. So it's 82 to 95. So I got the pillion pad in the back seat. I'll show you what I got on there right now. We'll put this seat. I'm going to put it on here tonight. But, I'm not going to I'll give you an updated review later on when I get some kind of results. It seems to be a little wider in the front. So one thing I was a little worried about was because one thing on the stock seat I like is it's kind of skinnier in the front, and if you're trying to push the bike backwards, that's one advantage of a Sportster because it's lighter, that you can get your legs, I don't know, you got more leverage with your legs and stuff. But this part I'm really sold on right here, because what I was doing on the old seat, sometimes I put a backpack on a pillion pad behind a regular seat to kind of make this so there's a little support. This looks like this is going to work out good. And it's got these rubber bumpers on here. The other seat just sits right on it. The steel pan just sits right on the frame. Now the other thing I'm going to have, I'm also got these gel pad shorts coming in basically for motorcycle riding. So I plan on getting some real long rides in. So with this and that, and I'll probably be changing the hand grips too, which they're original. I never messed around with. The only thing I did for comfort was I put the highway pegs on it. I like the mid controls, but everybody's different, right? Kind of stand back. This is the seat. Let me look. Let's look at this. You can see it's a little longer. It should fit though. It's probably going to cover up a little more of this right here, which is kind of cool. I know there's always a space between the gas tank and the seat on Sportsters. So I don't know, maybe they're not like that anymore, because this is an aftermarket tank anyway. It sits up a little higher. It's a little wider, I think. Let's see, maybe. Yeah, it's definitely wider in the back. Is it wider in the front? Oh no, see that? See that? Here's the other one underneath it, right? So this goes up a little further, like maybe up to there. I'll be getting it on here soon. And it says Mustang on it. Oh, another thing, some of these seats are like, I think Corbin is leather. There's a couple other ones that are leather that are a real lot of money. I said, I don't want to get a leather seat, because this bike gets wet and this thing's going to rot out, you know what I mean? If it's leather. So, because surprisingly, the seat hasn't ripped in all these years. I mean, really, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, I don't know. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I mean, yeah, because this part from here to here, like, you're looking black on black, right? So it's kind of hard to see. But see, this part right here is about that, right about here. So that's about the same width. It just goes a little more forward, because this will sit up. And this will probably cover the gas tank practically. Yeah, it'll go right up to the gas tank. That's good. And it looks like I'm gonna get it on there and see what we got going here, man. It's got me curious now. Looks like the height is, looking at that, let's look at it like this. Height looks about the same. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let me change it out, see what happens here. Okay, here's the old seat. It's came out. And I remember I put a couple of pieces of Gorilla Tape under here between the frame and the seat. So this sits, see, this is sitting on a frame directly. Here you got the rubber bumpers. We'll put them together here. Yeah, so this seat, it goes forward just a little more, so it covers up that spot in the front. Yeah, it looks identical to me. It's got like a longer slot too, which is pretty good, so in case you're not perfectly lined up. This is stapled. These are actually riveted. And put it up this way. So that'll be the back. Going with the back there, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's actually, so the back to the back is like that, right? So right from here, this is the same width right here. It's about the same width. It's a hair wider, not much, in the front. It is a little wider, not much, very little, but it extends out a little more. It's wider in the back. You can see that. See that? I mean, well, maybe it's not coming out. Let's put it together like that. All right, you can see the seat is wider. But this thing, this spot where you sit in it like that, that's the most important thing. So I was always like trying to sit right in here, and I'd put a backpack on that pillion pad to kind of go up in here so my back would hit it. And actually this seat, after I broke it in a real lot, but who knows, well, I'm definitely keeping it. I'm not throwing it away, that's for sure. Let me get this one on here. See what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna probably put a little grease on this, and just so it slides in here. Well, she's on there, and it's a little wider seat, which is cool because the gas tank I got is wider, so it kind of goes with the bike. This is kind of like a Sportster that is kind of halfway to the big twin a little bit. It's because, without getting too gaudy with it, because I don't like when it detract from the Sportster's looks, like putting all kinds of too much stuff on it. It's got the fringe saddlebags, leather, and I'm probably going to put a pad over here, get one on eBay and make a bracket for it, just a little pad for the passenger rest. But with the 3.8 gallon gas tank with the two gas caps up on there like that, one of them actually only works, and the highway pegs and stuff, and it's geared with, instead of 21/48 sprockets, it's got 23/46, so it can run down the highway no problem, and the engine's got enough power in it because it's not just the 1200. It's got the Baisley valve, some headworks, Andrews V4 cam, and S&S rods, and the carburetor's different and stuff, and the exhaust is different. It's got a lot more power than, so the 4-speed with the gearing like that is still fine. So the one thing is the comfort level if you're riding like all day. But I haven't rode all day in years, actually, to tell you the truth, but I plan to start getting in more lengthy trips, so that's why I got the seat. My personal opinion, the stock seat worked fine for, especially if you're going like an hour and a half or something, no problem. But this thing feels more secure with this indentation like that. Indentation like that. It feels more secure. And it sits a little bit more forward, in my opinion, because I guess I must have sat further back on the seat. I was kind of using this pillion pad. It's kind of like my backrest a little bit, but that's okay because I can use the highway pegs, and you can always when you're using the highway pegs, even though you don't have your forward controls, you could still use your rear brake with your heel, and you could still shift on the other side with your heel. You know, so to me, it's kind of like, I don't know. I like this bike, and it's like, you know, people tell you, oh, why don't you go up to a bigger bike? You know, well, I sat on the bigger bike, and it felt too wide and heavy and stuff, and like for regular use. It's good if you're getting out on the highway real long, but this one would, you know, this one would be fine with. It's pretty much all around, all-purpose bike now, more so. Which that's always been my theme. I put the 6-inch risers on the top, you know, kind of bring the handlebar up. That small windshield, which isn't really intrusive, doesn't. That was I was resisting windshields for years because I just hate them on Sportsters, but this one looks fine. This one doesn't look bad. It makes a huge difference. And now the seat. This seat, I think, with the little peanut Sportster tank, might look a little funny. But if you got a wider tank, like I got a wider tank, you know, it's a lot wider. So, you know, it goes with the bike, no problem. But, you know, I figured it's more of a safety factor because of, you know, if it cuts down fatigue, it's good.